If you haven't heard the Saints are in the Super Bowl by now, then you may want to get out a little bit more. This weekend will serve as one of the biggest moments in New Orleans history, with their football team playing in the biggest game of its own history. Sports Showtime's Jacob Krasnow has more on just what it means not only to the franchise, but more importantly, to the people that call the great city of New Orleans home.
And words just can't describe the feeling.
You know, the fans in this city and this region deserve it.
Super Bowl! I think it may be the single most greatest event that ever happened in New Orleans.
Super Bowl! And then there were four. Only 4 teams left in the NFL that have never reached the Super Bowl. The Saints are no longer in that number, much to the chagrin of only 4 people. The artist formerly known as Prince, the other 2 people who live in the state of Minnesota, and the artist formerly known as the best rapper alive, ex-New Orleanian Lil Wayne, who will soon be known as the best rapper in jail. It was apparent more than ever on the morning of the NFC Championship game just who is a citizen of the Who Dat Nation. There was something different, something special about the relationship between the city of New Orleans and its professional football franchise. The Saints are part of the city, and the city is part of the team.
This is our part. We're doing our part because the players are going to be doing their part, the coaches, everyone. And this is what we could do, which is, it is kind of ridiculous, you know, like, what can we do? We can do a great time, you know, but that's what we do well. Who dat? Yes, indeed, Father, yeah!
Fast forward to the 4th quarter, with less than a minute remaining in regulation, and the score tied at 28. The 12th man, quite literally, made his presence felt. 12 men in the Vikings huddle drew a 5-yard penalty, pushing the Vikings out of field goal range. On the subsequent play, Brett Favre threw an interception, proving his unworthiness to play in the Super Bowl for the 17th time in 19 seasons. But the Saints weren't given the game. They took it away. The Department of Domeland Security forced 5 turnovers. Pierre Thomas ran for a 9-yard touchdown on the opening drive of the second half, and Drew Brees contributed 3 aerial TDs of his own. He finished strong, leading the Saints to the Vikings' 22-yard line in overtime to set up the most significant kick in franchise history. WWL Radio's Jim Henderson provided the most poignant call since Hakeem dropped the ball.
Snap, placement, kick by Hartley, and it is good! It's good! It's good! Pigs have flown! Hell is frozen over! The Saints are on their way to the Super Bowl!
Now, the Who Dat Nation must migrate to Miami. Indianapolis Colts quarterback Peyton Manning, a former Isidore Newman standout and son of legendary Saint Archie Manning, leads an offense that ranked 2nd in the air and dead last on the ground against a Saints defense that has preyed upon future Hall of Fame quarterbacks in the postseason. But this super matchup will likely come down to which team can generate a better pass rush, something the Colts will struggle with if Pro Bowl defensive end Dwight Freeney is limited with a torn ankle ligament. If Drew Brees has time to sit back in the pocket, he will pick apart a Colts defense that is already undersized and undermanned. Starting cornerback Gerard Powers is questionable with a foot injury as well. But talk of stats and matchups can go on for weeks. The only stat that matters is the final score, something no one will know until next Sunday night. Super Bowl 44 will likely be decided because of something that is intangible, something beyond the game itself. It's easy to describe what Peyton Manning and the Colts represent. Preparation, execution, fundamental football. But the Saints represent something more. Nothing can capture what this team and its first Super Bowl berth means to its nation of fans and its players. The only thing that would mean more than a Super Bowl berth would be a Super Bowl victory. And you would be a squirrel to believe that the crew de Drew doesn't know what is riding on their shoulders. The Saints know that this is time to believe. This is time to stand up and get crunk. This is our time. And this is Jacob Krasnow reporting for Sports Showtime.
Kickoff for the Super Bowl is set for Sunday at 5:20 p.m. in Miami, Florida. It's certain to be a game to remember.